For 70 years, the relationship between Disney and animals has been undeniable. From countless cartoon characters, entertaining animatronics, and Oscar-winning true-life adventures, Disney and animals are virtually one and the same. Walt may have summed it up best when he said, "I only hope we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse." Today, that mouse is roaring. Disney's Animal Kingdom is the result of hundreds of talented designers, engineers, storytellers, and animal experts. The story of how Disney's Animal Kingdom came to be is a tale of Disney magic all its own. It all started in 1990 when Michael Eisner and a group of talented Disney Imagineers began brainstorming the idea for a theme park devoted to animals. A traditional zoo was not what the designers had in mind. Seeing animals in cages was not the experience Disney was after. The driving philosophies were entertainment, adventure, and conservation awareness. The designers began by packing up and heading off to Africa, surrounding themselves with exactly what they wanted to reproduce.
They really do wiggle their ears every time they come up out of the water.
They discussed the look, the feel, and the story they would create for Disney's Animal Kingdom.
How perfectly round that is, like a cup.
Almost a whitewashed,
That's what it is.
thing.
Yeah.
Each Imagineer kept a personal diary. Many of their stories and experiences found their way into the Kilimanjaro Safari's attraction. In addition to the facilities that would house Disney's newest living attractions, animal experts were busy finding ways to group the animals together in safe designated areas where they could live naturally. In April of 1992, the design team came up with their primary plan for the park layout. Thousands of drawings, models, and pictures were produced. On their first major presentation, Disney executives were truly amazed. With only minor changes, the initial park layout was approved and set. Disney's Animal Kingdom suddenly became real and urgent. First, a place had to be found that would hold all the ideas and stories as well as provide a safe and comfortable home for the animals. 600 acres of land just west of the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida was perfect. It was high, dry, and large stands of native oaks could be saved and worked into the park. In 1993, the final details were in place. Attractions, facades, props, scripts, and layouts were completed. Secondary design teams were winging their way to Africa and Asia for research on buildings and vegetation. As construction started, Disney employed 26,000 construction workers. 60 miles of underground facilities were laid, and 4 million cubic yards of earth were moved to sculpt the park. 500 skilled workers were hired to do nothing but build the rocks required inside the park. Upon entering, guests will walk through the oasis. Unlike traditional merchandise corridors in other Disney theme parks, the guests can unwind, relax, and experience a new environment. At the center of the park, the Tree of Life is a soaring tribute to the interconnectedness of life. Due to its size and weight, the initial design was based on a dome. Connected to a base that utilized offshore oil well technology, the final shape was structurally sound, but for the builders, it presented a huge challenge. However, an ingenious design was conceived that allowed 4 sequentially sized branches to be connected in random patterns. Sculptors from all over the world were brought together to create the base of the Tree of Life. It started as a model that was cut into small cubes. The cubes were digitized into a computer that fabricated the tree stages in 8 by 8 sections. Once the sections were completed, they were flown to the site by helicopter. The finished tree can withstand winds up to 74 miles per hour, has over 100,000 streamlined leaves, and towers 140 feet into the air. The 100-acre Kilimanjaro Safaris attraction is designed to hold 100 animals in an upland forest with 2 savannas. The design stressed the importance of concealing the barriers between the guests and the animals. At Gorilla Falls, guests will feel there is nothing between them and a troop of gorillas but a grassy slope and bamboo. In Dinoland, the thrill ride, Countdown to Extinction, has the largest audio animatronics ever produced. One of the largest investments in the park was in landscaping. The park called for more than 4 million plants, ranging from huge trees to small shoots of grass. Three primary concepts were incorporated into the landscaping: guest comfort, park screening, and the right environment for the right attraction. As the front of the house progressed, the back of the house was preparing for the arrival of its living attractions. Thousands of man-hours went into the planning of the backstage living areas for the park's animals. Disney planners spent a great deal of time listening to respected animal organizations, conservation groups, and expert curators from zoological parks around the world. From the start, Disney was dedicated to 2 propositions. The animals would only come from pre-captive populations, and no animal would be acquired if it added to the detriment of the wild population. A personal concern for all the animals was evident as they arrived at their new home. Some of the animals were purchased, others loaned, and some donated. Disney's Animal Kingdom represents a paradigm shift in animal care. Holding areas were designed and budgeted with priority over the attractions. The buildings are climate controlled. Huge skylights provide sunshine, and fresh air circulates through the enclosures. Once the animals are in their new homes, a staff of 300 animal care specialists and veterinarians will care for them 7 days a week.
Here at Disney Animal Kingdom, we feed 1,500 animals. In a day, we go through approximately 1.5 tons of food. Of that types of food, we go through produce, grain, hay, and meat products.
The vets arrive before dawn and decide if an individual animal can go on stage.
Mammals are usually held in quarantine for 30 days after they're brought into the collection, so we can just make sure they're healthy.
The health of the animals is the most important aspect of their job.
Well, my name's Melinda, and I'm one of the animal keepers here in Conservation Station. And with me is a bird called a tawny frogmouth.
Today, all of the ideas, planning, and construction have come together to make Disney's Animal Kingdom the most unique theme park in the world. More than just a place to see animals in their natural habitat, Disney's Animal Kingdom brings the adventure and thrill of being close to these wonderful partners sharing our planet.